Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about these fan submissions for this Oasis T-Shirt Design Contest that they sent out last week. Before we take a look at those, however, I want to show you the one that I submitted. So this is my mock-up of this cool, like 3D layered type of design. And unfortunately, you were restricted to the actual size of what you could send in. And there are a lot of details in this. I tried to strip those out as much as possible, like for the mock-up itself, because I didn't exactly know what the process was. I didn't know if they were going to reach out and say, hey, we want to get like a larger version of it so we can see. I didn't know what the process was. So I just put this together. And just for a little bit of context, Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis is my favorite song of all time. And What's the Story Morning Glory is my second favorite album of all time. So first is Melancholy by Smashing Pumpkins. But anyway, I wanted to put this together, and when I was putting it together, I was just having a lot of fun doing this. There was a lot of excitement and everything. And so I was like, all right, I gotta, put together, like, I've got this idea in my head. I kind of wanted this 3D type of thing. And where that came from was the, I guess I got a little bit too abstract in my thinking, but in the music video, you see Noel Gallagher, he's holding up the magnifying glass. So I kind of wanted to kind of capture that feel, but it didn't really come off exactly the way that I hoped it would. It came off that way in my head, but probably not to whoever is seeing these submissions for this contest. And then instead of the apostrophe, I put the 30 right here because it's for the 30th anniversary. And then because we've got that distorted, like that skew type of thing where it's kind of going upward, I did the Oasis also going that upward in that same direction. So anyway, just wanted to show you my submission before we take a look at the official final 6. All right, so here's the final 6, and this was kind of the biggest version of the picture that I could get, but let's take a look at these. I actually really like all of these. They're super cool, although one is my favorite, and we will talk about that one here in just a minute. But this one right here, this is a really cool collage of all the different things that you see in the video. This right here, I would totally buy this shirt. Really, I would buy all of these shirts because, I mean, it is my favorite song, and all of these designs are just really cool. So we've got the Oasis at the top, Don't Look Back in Anger right here in the center, and all of these different designs and layouts of everything that are directly from the music video. And so you got the bed, you've got these, I think those are flowers probably, like, they're at the house, they got the flowers and everything, the 2 guitars, the magnifying glass, which for me is just iconic for this particular song and music video. This is what I always think of. So I love the inclusion of that little magnifying glass. And then you've got Noel over here, Liam over here, and then that drum set that's floating on the pool. Such a cool moment from that music video. This particular song and music video is what made me fall in love with the drums. I was playing the drums when I was 13. Didn't really last long because I wasn't really that good at it. I just like to bang on the drums and everything, but just had a lot of fun with it. And then the 30 right here with that swirl with the British flag and everything. Super cool. I love this entire design. The colors are just perfect. This is, like Step Outside, Summertime's in Bloom. The colors are perfectly representative of that. And this overall is a super cool design. I would totally buy this. All right, the next one up is one of my favorites. It's not my absolute favorite though. This is something very similar to something that I was playing around with. And you know what? What the heck? I'll just show it to you. So this is what I was kind of playing around with. It didn't really get to the point where I wanted it to be though, because you've got the Step Outside, Summertime's in Bloom type of thing. We've got the sun featured right there. This is based on a poster that I did a few years ago, and I wanted to try to translate that over into a shirt, but I knew that with that gradient and that glow happening, probably wasn't going to be as friendly on a shirt. So that's kind of why I decided to not go with this one and go with the other one instead. Now looking back, and just kind of seeing what they ended up choosing for the final 6, probably should have submitted this, but it is what it is. But this is what I was kind of playing around with, and you can see the similarity, at least in the vibe and the overall tone of what this ended up being right here. You've got this really awesome color palette of brown, red, orange, and yellow, and with Don't Look Back in Anger with the sun setting and everything, it's just absolutely perfect. And I would definitely buy this shirt as well. I mean, really, any Don't Look Back in Anger shirt that is officially from Oasis, I mean, I'm just gonna buy it, so that's that. But overall, it's a terrific concept. I can see why they picked it for their final 6. It's cheap, it's easy to print, and it looks great. All right, next one up is also a great concept. It's just the cassette tape with Don't Look Back in Anger written on it. I can't help but think maybe there could have been a little bit more potential going into this particular design. Not that it's bad. I actually really do love it. Love the colors and everything. But I wonder, you know, if maybe looking at the official tape itself of the actual tape single of Don't Look Back in Anger and maybe pulling something from that. I don't know. For all I know, the designer who put this together, it's possible that they kind of went to that route. Whenever I'm trying to recreate something or something that's referencing the past in nostalgia, I always look at what the original was and how it actually looked in that time period, just so I can get, like, it's not to recreate it like exactly, but it's to see if I can get some type of inspiration from the original design. So that would be my only beef with this particular design, is just can't help but wonder if there was something else that could have been taken from the original. But aside from that, it's a fantastic design, and I really do love the cassette form of it. It would be cool if maybe the tape was kind of coming out, but you know, that's just nitpicking at this point. Overall, it's a great design, and I can see why they picked it. All right, now we're getting into the territory of obviously being from the music video itself, because if you know the music video, you know that chair, you know those sunglasses, and the roses that are on the ground right there. It's just a great concept, and I love the alternating type right here, how you've got the white on black and then the black on white right here. It's just a really cool back and forth right there. I don't know what this text is saying here at the bottom, but I'm just guessing maybe 30th anniversary or something like that. I don't know. Then you've got the Oasis logo down here at the bottom. Overall, terrific concept. I really do like this one a lot. And again, I would buy this one as well. This grungy design right here is also really cool, although one thing I will say about this one, and it's just me probably being super nitpicky, but I wasn't a big fan of the exclamation point right here, because when he says "at least not today," it's a very calm type of vibe, and it just kind of fades out into the end of the song, and it doesn't feel like he's shouting it. Although on the shirt right here with the grungy design and that exclamation point added in, it seems like it's being shouted, "At least not today!" You know, and it just doesn't seem to fit well with that moment that happens in the actual song. Again, I could be nitpicking here. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this particular shirt? Besides that, I do like, you know, the grungy type of design and everything, and also I do like how it's a little bit uneven. You know, it's kind of got the grungy distressing up here at the top, and then it's a little bit more uneven, you know, down here in this area, and it just works really well overall. As a designer, I would definitely make sure that I exported this as a PNG, and that those white areas that are in there, those are actually cut out of the type, so that the white is actually the background of the shirt, instead of white being on a white background and those two colors being different from each other. So I would definitely make sure of that, but otherwise, this is a really great design. Okay, so now we've come to my favorite of all of the submissions. This is such a simple idea, and it's one of those things that when you see it, you're like, why didn't I think of that? I think that that's kind of the dilemma of every graphic designer. We see other designers' work, and we just think to ourselves, why didn't that come to me? Why didn't I think of that? This is such a cool design, and the moment that I saw it, I knew that this was going to be the one that I was going to vote on. But one thing that I wanted to do as part of this video is to recreate this in concept. So what we're gonna do is I actually grabbed a screenshot of this right here, a larger version of the actual graphic. So one thing I'd like to do is recreate this in a minimal sense, because if you look at this right here, the magnifying glass is rough around the edges right here. This is obviously a raster graphic that's laid on top of this, and it's not to say that it's not well done at all. It's just I would want this to be in pure vector form. So I'm going to recreate this in vector format. So let's go ahead and lower this down to about 30% opacity. And the first thing that I want to do is create the framing of this magnifying glass. So let's go ahead and lay that down right here. And I do want this to be more precise than the actual design is in this particular graphic, because the end goal of this is to recreate this concept using clean vector graphics. So that's what we're gonna do. And I'm gonna go ahead and set my stroke to black right here. And now we're going to round those corners, and we're just gonna go up to 1/8 of an inch. That sounds good to me. And now with object selected, I'm gonna go up here to path and offset path. And we're going to offset that path another 1/8 of an inch and hit OK. So now we have the framing of our magnifying glass right here. So one thing I'm going to do next is grab my pen tool, and we're just going to kind of roughly recreate this. We're going to go right here, and I'm going to do a hard corner right here, and we're going to come back and round that here in just a minute. And now we're just going to kind of follow the contours of this. It doesn't have to be exact. And it just needs to be enough to be able to identify this unique magnifying glass. It would be so cool if I could find one of these. I would love to have one. So now I'm just going to duplicate this over, and we're going to transform and reflect on this. Hit OK. And then bring this over here. I'm going to select both of these and change over to outlines for a second just to make sure that it's lined up. And it is. So let's go back over to fill. And now I'm going to go over here to the Pathfinder and click on Unite. So now that's one united shape. All right, now we're going to select the top part of the magnifying glass and switch from the stroke to the fill. And now we just need to go over here to the Pathfinder and click on minus front. All right, and now we are going to grab the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw just a regular old rectangle right here, over here. And I'm not going to fill that just yet, but I am going to copy and paste in front. And we're going to scale this to about right there where that spine is, and then here as well, and then we'll just go over here and increase the stroke. And now what we want to do is grab this stroke and expand it, hit OK, and in just a minute we'll actually fill in this rectangle right here. So I'm going to type out Oasis, and this font is Helvetica Black Oblique. So I'm going to go ahead and create outlines for this. I'm going to create 2 copies right here because we've got a smaller O right here and then a smaller S on this side, and then everything inside, since it's being magnified, is actually larger. So all I need for the outside pieces are the O and the S, and for the inside pieces we need larger versions of all of the letters, but they're going to be cut off at certain points. So let's go ahead and ungroup these two, and I'm going to bring this O right up here. And we're just going to scale this to about right there. And now let's ungroup these. I'm going to bring this O right over here. And just temporarily, I'm going to change the color of this to yellow, so that way we can see it a little bit easier while we're working with it. And we'll lay this right here. So if we switch over to outline view, you can see that we still have that black O right there. We're just going to bring that forward. So that way we get just kind of a frame of reference for where everything is. Now we're going to move the A up here. Now we'll do the same thing with the S. And when I'm scaling this, I'm making sure that I'm holding Shift while I'm doing it. Shift, that way we can strain those proportions there. And then we have what we'll call the inner S right here. And we want to line that up. You see how it's kind of cutting right here where that S is? It's kind of cutting on the inside of that. I want to maybe move this over just a hair, so that way we don't have any interference of where those paths are overlapping right there, because that can cause some wonkiness. Then we'll move this S up here. Actually, let's go ahead and change this color to that yellow. And we'll outline it just for a second. And now we'll move this S up here and scale this down here. Move that S to the front, And now swap the fill and the stroke there. Okay, so from this point, it's really just using a combination of Pathfinder tools. So what we're going to do is I'm going to color each one of these black letters white. So we'll just color drop on that background there. Now we're going to swap this fill and stroke. And now let's go into here and make sure that we bring all of these white letters to the front. So we're going to do arrange and bring to front. And we don't really need the original graphic anymore, so we can go ahead and unlock that layer and move it over here. And since we color dropped on the graphic, we actually picked up that opacity. So let's bring this back up to 100%. And now before we do anything with the Pathfinder, I'm going to go ahead and lay down a rectangle in this particular area because this is where part of that area is zoomed in. So we want that to be represented by a black background in this area because you wouldn't actually see where the white cutout is there. All right, so now we're going to select all of this in this area and click on divide. So that's going to divide up all of the areas where the paths are overlapping with each other. So what we want to do here is everywhere where this area is overlapping right here, we want to switch that to black. And then on the outside of this area, we don't want that yellow to be there, so we're just going to color drop black for here and do the same thing on this side. And now for the inside portion, we don't want these two to be on the inside. We just want that larger portion of the O to be right there. And then we're just going to do the same thing over here on this side. So that magnifying glass is actually covering up every portion of this. This portion of the S should not be there. So let's color drop that black. This portion of the S also shouldn't be there, so we'll color drop that black as well. And now we'll color drop the yellow for these. And these right here should actually both be white. This portion should be black. All of these right here should be white. And now since this yellow is cut up into different sections, we're just going to use our magic wand tool and click on the yellow and then just color drop on white. Got a little bit of some peaking going on right here, but that's not really that big of a deal. All right, so the next thing we want to do, since we want all of this graphic to be black, we want the entire graphic itself to be one color. We're going to go ahead and select everything and click on divide. So that is going to divide up all of our paths, even though we already went in and colored everything, but you'll see why we did that in just a second. So we're going to go ahead and click on the original graphic and just get rid of that. So now what we're going to do with our direct select tool is we're going to select anywhere that's black and click on select, same, and fill color. And now we're going to go back up to select and click on inverse. So that's going to select anything that's not black. And all we have to do is hit delete. So now when we select this entire graphic, everything is black, everything is the same color, and now we just go over here and click on Unite, and it unites everything as one solid graphic. So now you can pick this up and move it exactly how you want, and you can also duplicate it over here, and put a black background here, color drop on white, and now it works with any color. So what we did is we just took that concept of the original raster artwork and turned it into a very clean, easy to use, easily reproducible, and easily recolorable, if that's a word, artwork that you can use for anything. I don't know if any of these designers will come across this video, but if you happen to, congratulations on all of these. You definitely should be proud of yourself. These are all fantastic submissions, and you all did a great job. If you like this video and you'd like to see more graphic design content, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.